motivation. Motivation comes after you take action. You know, I was taught that if you move first, then and only then is when you get the desired process that you're trying to get to. So basically, let me give an example, because every time I talk, I want to be clear and I want it to be very understandable. That when you want something, you know, if you want an apple, all right, you have to go where apples are at, and to get an apple, you can't go to you know, where oranges are at and say, hey, I want an apple. You know, you have to make a direction. You have to make a move towards what you want to get what you really want, to get what you want to get, right? So that's it. See, but here's the flip side of it. I've learned, you know, you sit around and you wait. And I sit around and you sit around. Everybody sits around sometimes and just wait. And they want what they want, but they haven't got inspired or motivated or that get pick me up and go spirit. So they wait for that pick me up and go spirit before they get up and go. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they don't move unless they have to. For instance, if a person wakes up in their stomach and they're hungry, then they say, man, I gotta give me something to eat. So they get up and they walk towards the food. And if it's not there, they go find the food. And what if they need to pay for the food, but they ain't got no money? They figure out a way to go pay for the food, to get the money and buy the food so they can eat. And especially if there's children or someone else involved that they're in charge of taking care of, they figure out a way to get it done. But here is what happens when it's something like a dream or something they really want out of life. You know, survival is easy. You know, survival is an easy way to get motivated. If you're about to die, you figure out a way. You're fighting for your life. You know, you're fighting for your life. You figure out a way to make that happen. So I suggest for you and for me and for everybody else involved, you treat your dreams and hopes as if you're fighting for your life, because it is a fight. It's a fight for sure. It's a fight for sure. There's a winner, there's a loser, and there's a winner and there's a learner, you know, because there's 2 types of ways to do it. You can either win and win, because there's only one way to win, and then you can either lose and lose, because there's 2 ways to lose, or you can lose and learn, which is the other way. There's only one way to win, but there's 2 ways to lose. So basically, like, you can lose and just be a loser. You know, and I got a statement. People who know me best know that I said I don't like losers around me. If you around me, you are obligated to win. You just obligated. And there's no other way. You're either gonna win or you're gonna lose the other way, which is you're gonna lose and learn. Because there's 2 different ways to lose, but there's only one way to win. And if you're around me, you're destined to win. Because I do not, and I despise, and I refuse to have losers around me. You're either going to lose and learn, or you're going to get away from me. Or you're going to win. That's it. That's plain and simple. If you're in my percentage, if you're in my circle, or if you're in my area, and we're doing anything, we're winning. We're winning. And if we lose by you know, the numbers of losing, say if you need 38 to win, and we only got 38, we only got 37, then, you know, we lost, but we learned from that loss. We're not losers, we're learners. So you're either going to win or you're going to learn. Let me put it like that, simple. So don't wait to be inspired to do something. You do something first, and then you get inspired by it. You want to lose 50 pounds. You know, set yourself a goal to lose 200 pounds. Set yourself a goal to lose 200 pounds. That way, once you get to that 5 pounds, that's a win. But you got to make the first step. You got to take the first step in order to know in that direction. You know, you cannot walk east, all right, and keep walking east and keep walking east and keep walking east when you want to go to the west. You can't, you know, this the directions in life. You can't, you know, it's just overall, it's so different type of ways to explain this, but the main step is take a step. Get to where you try to go in the direction you're trying to go. You know, try to go the direction you're trying to go, and then and celebrate those small accomplishments, those little small ones. You know, the ones that, you know, that people overlook sometimes. You know, like you lost a half a pound. Well, that's not a lot, and it's a long way from 50. You know, but it's still a win, and you have to celebrate that. You have to celebrate that. You have to get comfortable at celebrating everything in your life, even what people might consider a loss. You know, someone says, you know, hey, Roy, you know, Roy had $1 million when he was 17. And by the time he was 22, he was gone. He was broke. Celebrate that. That's what I do. I celebrate it, you know, because I learned a lot from it. So that's what you got to understand. Like, and then the same thing, like, if you're not able to celebrate the losses or what people consider to be losses, own your losses, not celebrate them per se, but own them. You own everything you do. You own everything you do. Win or lose, you own it. That is yours. You own it. You know what I'm saying? That's yours. You did it. You know, things was all good just a week ago, right? When everything was great, you own that. Now that things are going in a downward position, now things are going the opposite direction, and you wanna avoid that. No, celebrate that. Learn from that as well. And that's the message. One of the messages that I wanted to kind of get through to myself when I look back over this 2 years ago, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe someone in my family look at it, you know, 10 years from now, 11 years from now, whatever the deal might be, that's the lesson will stay the same. Ownership. You take ownership in what you're doing. And if you don't like it, change it.